Poe One. I started dancing, I was popping first. Well, I didn't know it was called popping. I was miming, roboting, and imitating things that I saw in my neighborhood. I was 10 years old, so it was around 1980, mid-1980. And then I started breaking. The first time I saw breaking was 82. I was 12 years old. I just thought it was fun. It was something that caught my attention, the energy, and the energy of it just kind of captured me. I just fell in love with it. Like, I just wanted to do it, you know, and I wanted to capture that energy and give it back, you know. So that's how I approach it, and I still approach it that way. When I first began, everything was being made up. Everything was being developed. There was things already developed, but there wasn't a lot of videos, so we were making new things out of older things and making new things out of mistakes. Anything to do with stylism, and that's how we approached it when we were kids. We would improvise and try to land. No matter where we landed, we made sure we landed looking good. Even if we crashed, it would be a freeze, you know, just a freeze right away. I noticed some kids don't focus so much on looking good, and they focus more on trying to do the trick and not caring about how they land it or how they go into the trick. That's what I've noticed. The difference of style has changed. The presence of it has changed. You can teach the moves of breaking in a classroom. It's nice to teach it, you know. I like teaching. But one thing you really can't teach, you can explain to the student, but you really can't teach it because they have to find out for themselves, is the approach of the dance itself. It's the key. It's what makes our dance what it is. I think everything in the world has an approach. Boxing has a certain style. Ballet has a certain style. If I learn how to do a pirouette, but I don't do it like them, they're gonna tell me that I'm not a ballet dancer, and I can't argue with them. Other dancers can say that. You know, jazz dance, if you don't capture the essence or the approach of jazz, then you're not a jazz dancer, you know. It's the same way with breaking. There's an approach. Well, I've taught ballet dancers that are on Broadway or off Broadway, and they want to incorporate breaking in their show. They've hired me. I worked with them for 4 months. In 4 months, they learned everything I taught them perfectly, you know. But one thing they didn't learn was how to take away the ballet style and make it the breaking style, make it what it is. And they did every move perfectly, you know, what I taught them, except one thing: they had no spirit. My question to everybody watching this is, because they learn a bunch of breaking moves, does it make them a b-boy or b-girl? You tell me, all right? I'll answer that and said, no, it doesn't. It's just a bunch of people that learn breaking moves, but they don't want to respect enough the dance to learn the actual spirit of it, okay? That's what I believe. You know? I give my students homework. I make them, I said, yo, you have to go to this jam. You have to represent in the circles, because in a classroom, they won't get experience. Battling here is battling safe, what I call safe. It's a box. You're in your safety box. But once you're on the street, there's no one to save you. So it's yourself, the floor, and the music. You're alone. If you win, you learn something. If you lose, you learn something. So, but you must challenge yourself to a battle. Not a competition. Competitions are good. But for me, in a circle, there's no time. Like, okay, stop the battle. No, there's no judges. There's nothing. You have to use your humility, your humbleness, and be honest and say, you know what? I lost that. You know what? I won that. It's like you have to be honest to yourself, and then you go back home and you practice. There's no real school for it. I learned by somebody dissing me, somebody attacking me. I'll bring students to a jam, to a competition, and I'll get my cousin Stilo, I'll get Frankie, friends of mine, and I'll say, yo, there's one of my students, attack. I recommend to all students, learn that way. You develop your own style, you develop confidence, you develop security, but also, like positive and negative. A studio will help you also build confidence to secure your steps. You can see yourself in the mirror. When I was learning in the 80s, we represented by feeling. So you only counted on your feeling, okay? So that means if you felt good, it looked good. You had to be sure, you had to be confident, because you can't see yourself. To tell you the truth, I don't like mirrors. Kids can look at themselves and create a mask and imitate what they see. When we were kids, you can't see yourself, so you don't know really how you look. You just go by here and what the music tells you to do. So I tell a lot of kids, don't look at yourself so much. Look at yourself sometimes. Depend on feeling, depend on your spirit and your confidence. It's very important to really get to know the past, because most of the past for most of the world is the movie Beat Street and Wild Style, and that's the most of the past, because that's the media. But before that, there was way more history. So it's important to find out about that, and because we need to know where we come from. A lot of our pioneers, they're alive, but a lot of them are passing. Foster Freeze just passed, rest in peace. He was an encyclopedia, and if nobody in interviews asked the right questions to him, we never know the people he learned from, Who was the first he saw in the 70s or 60s? Most people hear Rocksteady, New York City Breakers, this, that. There's a lot of other people that were the ones that Crazy Legs watched or Ken Swift watched before them, And a lot of these people are alive. So it's really important to document their history, because, there's so much to learn. That is why we're never on a higher level. That's why ballet doesn't respect us as a legitimate art form. There's not a lot of good teachers that can talk about history, or be honest about history, because breaking has a lot of ego and pride. So I hope in years to come, people learn to be humble and learn to give respect to the people before us and the people after us. Our story, I want it to be told the way it is and have it in the books. That's what I wish in the next 10 years.